Good morning, America. How are ya? Monday Morning Rails. Hi, I'm Denny Jelsma, and I'm at the world famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum. Today is Monday, and you know what we always do on Monday? You guessed it. We do show and tell. Show and Tell is always brought to you by Jelsma Graphics, the embroidery people that have been making railroad logos on embroidery jackets, hats, shirts for clubs or railroads. Just go to jelsma.com. We've been doing this since 1985, almost 40 years. So for all your embroidery clothing, go to jelsma.com. And with that being said, Show and Tell starts right now.
Hi guys, it's Richard at the Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum again. This time I'm not going to talk about the building, and I'm definitely not going to talk about passenger trains of any sort. What I am going to talk about is a branch line unit. This one right here is the EMD demonstrator, my model of it. Back in the 1980s, I acquired an undecorated HO scale lifelike model of a BL. I didn't know anything about them, but I thought it was unusual looking, and that interests me. Anything weird I like. So in August of '88, I wrote off to EMD asking for any information about this particular unit, particularly the color scheme of, and I wanted the demonstrative model. So in August of 1988, Mr. K.M. Meeker of the EMD Sales Promotion Department answered my letter. He sent me a letter with company letterhead on it, telling me that because of my unusual request about this unusual topic, he decided to answer it that month. So he sent me not only a nice letter, but a scale line drawing from their files, several articles from Trains and Model Railroader. Most importantly, he sent me a color photograph from their files of this particular engine. Not knowing anything about this engine and a newbie to the hobby, I didn't even know this picture existed. So I was doing research through Model Railroader, some other magazines about the colors I was going to have to buy, not knowing decals were available. So when I finally got up the courage to have this thing worked on, Mike Stamey told me about microscale decals. He had me order the set, and I gave it to him, and he painted the model. Now, here's my instructions. The BL unit actually really is unusual. Designed in 1948 by MD's designer Dick Dilworth, he was tasked from taking the normal E or F body style and making something more utilitarian for the engineers and the road crew to work from. What he came up with was this thing, what he called a branch line. It was a 1500 horsepower, 567B V16 semi-streamlined body on BB trucks. It looked like a cross between a cab unit and a Borden's milk car. And I've got one of those on my layout too. It afforded excellent visibility and utilitarianism as far as the train crew was concerned, but it was too expensive to manufacture. Anyway, after they made these things and made several of them, 59 in total, EMD went on to perfect what they were looking for, and they eventually reached what they called their GP unit. And we know how happy they were with those things. Anyway, BL demonstrator number 499 was built in 1947. It was later rebuilt to a BL2 unit and sold to the Chicago and Eastern Illinois as their 1602. Later they renumbered it to 202. Between April 1948 and May of 1949, EMD built total 59 units in total. The Bangor and Aroostook had 8 units. Boston and Maine had 4. Chicago and Eastern Illinois had 3. The Chesapeake and Ohio had 14 of these things. Don't know why they got so happy about it, but they bought 14. Florida East Coast had 6. Missouri Pacific had 8. The Monon 9, Rock Island 5, and Western Maryland had just 2. The major claim to fame for this unit was their styling. The low through truss bridge frame on either arrangement on either side of the frame was its major siding feature. Mechanically, it wasn't much different from an F or an E unit, still in current production at the time, even though the BL was about 7 feet longer than your standard F unit. To quote Mr. Robert Hudman, who wrote the Diesel Data series, the BL2's design draws off either a smile or a grimace from the majority of modelers. They either like it or intensely dislike it. He says it's strange to see an engine design that so thoroughly polarizes modelers. Now, even here, most of the guys don't care for it, even though we do have one unit on the layout that's a BL2. Now, Greg likes weird things, so him and I are about the only ones who care for it. But anyway, we have fun at this place. And I get to run these things. So that's the way it is at the Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Club. Have a good day, guys.
Well, thank you, Richard. That was very interesting. I too like the BL2s, very unusual engine, and we all enjoy that very much. We want to thank the viewers for continuously watching the show and tell every Monday morning. It just keeps growing. The last 3 shows, one had 11,000 views on Facebook, another one 12,000. Last week's we were right around 10,000. We're just overwhelmed, and we thank you for watching. You can find the Monday morning show and tell is on Facebook under Denny Jelsma, or you could go on YouTube, and it is also under Denny Jelsma. And if you go on YouTube, please subscribe. We get more viewers on Facebook, but we just thank you. And the guys, once again, they have their glossies, their 8x10 glossies. They'll be glad to sign them. We've signed hundreds of these. Richard's running a little bit low. He gets a lot of people. And same thing with Greg, or better known as number 2. He'll sign them. Sign them usually at Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. to 6:40. And that's the way it is at the world famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum, where the sun always shines and running trains is an absolute pleasure.